Hey, it's Heidi Rain. Welcome back for another video. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new here, welcome home. I'm so glad you found me. It is not by accident. YouTube is a giant place. So if you're here, it's divine design. I'm so glad that you were led here to this video. Now, we're going to talk about something really painful, right? Which is relationship confusion. I know how hard that is. You lay awake every night, scratching your head, full of anxiety, thinking, should I stay or should I go? And not being able to effectively answer that question, like, can this relationship be fixed? Will things change? You wonder things like, well, if I do break up and end this or get divorced or move on, then all of a sudden they get their shit together. Now it's like I did all that hard work and somebody else gets to enjoy the fruits of my labor because now they're going to be healthy, but they weren't healthy with me. These are the things we think, right? We also think, if I leave this relationship, what if nobody else comes along? What if nothing else better happens? So we're kind of paralyzed with this overthinking, should I stay or should I go? That leaves us just with inertia. We just don't make any moves and we just kind of stay stuck. So my aim today is to help you go over the 3 reasons we stay stuck so that you can identify where you're at and where you're suffering so that you can break free for good, because awareness is the first step, and then we turn that awareness into action. AIM, I call it, awareness into action, the AIM approach, and we are set free from this dysfunctional codependent behavior once and for all. If you are interested in going all the way and you want to aim for results, come over to lovecoachheidi.com, because I'm currently enrolling for my program called The Decision, which answers the question, should I stay or should I go, over 12 weeks with me in a semi-private group coaching container where I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step system so that you can really have the insight you need and the action you need to take so that you can have the relationships you deserve. So let's get into these 3 things. I'm going to riff on them a little bit so we can cultivate that awareness of why you're stuck and where you're stuck. All right. The first reason that we stay in relationship confusion is because we forgot what normal is. Now, that might sound crazy, but let me explain what I mean. Let's say somebody, a man who was very successful in the stock market, okay, had a multi-million-dollar lifestyle, just was used to the finest things in the world, trips, dinners, experiences, excursions, and then all of a sudden he lost everything overnight and found himself in a homeless situation. Now he's homeless and he gets hungry. And after a while, he starts looking for some food. He doesn't have $1 to his name, not $1 in his pocket, and he sees a trash can. And he walks over to that trash can and he's like disgusted. He cannot believe his life has come to this. He's used to these beautiful meals and these exquisite restaurants, but here he is at this garbage can. So he looks at the top and he picks off a piece of pizza that's just like in the box, looks like it was like brand new, not really anything else around it. And he's like, okay, I guess I can go with this, right? And he takes the piece of pizza and he's like, opens the box, and he's starving. So he has no choice, and he eats it, and he's like gagging as he's eating this pizza, and he's thinking, what has my life become? But as the weeks go by and turn into months of him being homeless and in that situation, you will find that same man, ass up, head down in the dumpster, scavenging, hunting for goods that he finds at the bottom of the barrel and eating it like it's a 4-course meal. How did that happen? Well, because over time, we get desensitized to disgusting. We get desensitized to dysfunction, and we start to wonder, is this normal? So what you might not have accepted once upon a time behaviorally, it's been happening slower throughout time, where you've been exposed to this dysfunction or this toxic person or this bad behavior, and maybe it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's getting a little better. It's like your barometer for dysfunction and pain is way off course. Okay, so sometimes you need somebody to come alongside of you, like a wise counsel, to go, no, honey, that's not normal. No, that is dysfunctional. No, that's not right, because sometimes you cannot see the forest through the trees and you're confused and what about how much you should be tolerating, or what is normal, or what is dysfunctional. If you're curious about that, you can always go over to lovecoachheidi.com. There's a whole entire page dedicated to what is a dysfunctional person, what is toxic relationship. Okay. So that's the awareness that we need. Why are people in dysfunctional relationships? Why do they stay in them? They don't know they're in one. Just like that man who forgot that he was not meant to be ass up, face down in the dumpster. Okay? That's how it happens. So the first thing is that confusion of what's normal. The second reason we stay in is because maybe we had an intuition, an inkling of what was normal and what was okay, but we've been gaslit over time, and somebody has been playing psychological games with us where we might have known once upon a time, well, this behavior is not okay. I don't think this is going to change. This seems like there's more going on here than they're admitting, or I know something is up. But because we want not to be right, we want people to love us. We want this relationship to work, especially if you've invested a lot of time and energy into this relationship. It's a long-term relationship that you're looking to see if you should end. That's a pretty big decision. So of course, you're going to lean towards evidence that it's not what you think it is. You're not, you could be the type of person that's been trying to mount evidence forever. Well, I can't really leave yet because I don't have all the evidence. I don't know for sure these things are happening. And if there's gaslighting going on top of that, where you're confronting somebody because your intuition is telling you and they're saying, but you don't have any proof, this isn't really happening. If you keep accusing me of this, I might as well be doing it because you think I'm a bad person, so I might as well be a bad person. You get talked out of your own knowing. And then we don't want it to be true. So the intuition that's here, that knows all the time, by the way, what's happening and what's not happening, but we get talked out of it and the intuition floats up into our head, and that's where confusion lives. And we can be confused very easily when we live from just up here, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody who is manipulative, who can confuse you and talk you right out of the things you actually know to be true. So that's also a time for wise counsel, to have somebody come alongside of you and give the scenario and talk about the situation and have an objective person look at this situation and be able to tell you, like a seer. That's how I work. I'm able to see people's behavior, read what's going on, be a people predictor, understand this is likely what's going to happen next. This is what you can expect from this person, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas sometimes, again, you can't see the forest through the trees because you're talked out of your own intuition. Now, being such an astute people reader like I am, and having that be like, that's my superpower, is just seeing people, knowing what's happening and figuring it all out, right? However, we all have blind spots. We all have these things where our superpowers work, but you can't be a prophet in your own land, right? So I very rarely have been blindsided, but the only time I have been, it's been by people extremely, extremely close to me, because something happens to that superpower when you're with the people that you love. You could look at your girlfriends or your friends or whoever else in your life and say, well, that's ridiculous. Of course they're cheating. Of course they're addicted. Of course they're acting this way. Of course you deserve better. But when it comes to you, you have that little scotoma where you can't see things clearly. Your intuition knows, but again, you don't let it stop there. It travels up and you allow yourself to be confused because basically you don't want it to be true. You don't have a dog in the fight. If your friend is in a toxic relationship or something dysfunctional, all you care about is her. You're like, well, I just think she'll be happier and better if she gets out. But that clarity doesn't apply to you because you have all these other stories in your mind going on at the same time. Not just what's better for you, but what's better for them, what's better for the kids, what's the neighbor's going to think. All of these other things that pollute and dilute your intuition. In my program, inside of the decision, the group coaching container, we get rooted back into that divine intuition that you have so that we can learn to tap into her, tap into that space or him or whoever that is for you, and be able to listen to that voice and follow it because it's never steering you wrong. But again, we've lost our compass. We've lost our way because we've been gaslit out of it, or we've gaslit ourselves out of what we already know. So the first thing is that you don't know what normal is anymore. You're confused. You can't see the forest through the trees. The second thing is you're being gaslit out of your own intuition, and you don't know if you have enough evidence or proof, or you don't know if you should trust this person. And so there genuinely is this confusion because you forgot how to listen to your center. We can get you back there. The third thing is you're acting out of sheer straight up codependence. And codependence is you're in a relationship with somebody, you're listening to your intuition, you're not confused, it's a shit show, you're well aware it's a shit show, but you're still in it. That's codependency issue. Either A, you're acting out as one of, I call them, I've invented these 8 different attachment personality patterns, the 8 ways codependency shows up in our dynamics and keeps us stuck in these toxic or dysfunctional relationships. And you can go over to lovecoachheidi.com and download that book, Attachment Personality Patterns, for free so that you can see yourself. But likely you're acting as a fixer in that relationship. You have somebody that is struggling. You see they're broken. Clearly you see that they're not firing on all cylinders, but you are doing everything you can do, moving heaven and earth to fix that person, to try to change that person, to get that person to live into their fullest potential. And you keep enacting that behavior over and over again. Or you're controlling, codependent, where you're feeling like, as long as I stay with this person, I can prevent worse things from happening. So you're under the delusion that somehow you're protecting yourself or other people from bad things from happening by staying in it, right? And that's also, you need somebody to come alongside of you and talk that through. Or you're acting out of any number. Usually it's it usually is the fixer pattern that you're in. Although there are 8, there's clinging, there's withholding, there's all these other things. It usually is the fixer. It usually is that you're holding out hope that the thing you're going to say or the thing you're going to do is just like shake that person loose and they're finally going to reach their fullest potential. And you know, I get it. I get feeling that way, especially if you've been running that program for a long time. But that program is the very thing that is likely keeping you up at night and preventing you from having the relationship that you really deserve, meaning a true partner. Because I know that if you're in a situation like this, that's what you long for the most, is this true love. It's just to have a partner who actually gives a shit as much as you do, who puts as much effort into this relationship as you do. That's what your heart's desire is. It's like, where's that? And you keep hoping that one day the light's going to go on in them and they're going to see your value and go, you know what? You've stuck with me for all this time. Look what a good person you are. That's another form of codependence. It's the pleaser, right? If I stay in this long enough and you see how much I'm giving up of myself and you see how much I do for you, that you're going to choose me. So codependence shows up in a multitude of ways, not just like we think. It's like, oh, don't leave me, don't leave me. No, it's also try to fix people, try to save the day, be a hero, all these other things that we do. So any of these ringing a bell? Are your ears hot? Are you like, ding, ding, ding? Oh my God, that's exactly where I'm at. Awesome. We talk about the AIM approach. That's what I have, the AIM approach, awareness in motion, okay? Which is, first step is awareness. I see myself in one of these 3 things. I'm hanging on, I'm fixing, I'm doing whatever. Setting that awareness in motion is taking the next step, which is to come alongside of me in one of my coaching containers in our program where we can unravel this codependency story, this codependency programming, so that you can have that true partnership that we talked about, a relationship that really is reflective of your heart. You are a marvelous, wonderful, amazing person. You deserve to be treated with respect, kindness, consistency. Amen? How about that? How about just consistency? Okay. All right. Go over to lovecoachheidi.com and schedule a complimentary consultation. Let's make sure this is a good fit for you. I don't want to work with anybody I'm not convinced I can help 100%. So that's important to me, to get to know you, make sure you're a good fit for the program. And let's take it from there. All right. I love you. Have an excellent day today. And hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, can you do me a big favor? Leave a comment. The likes are nice too, but the comments take us to the next level and help us help more people, and that's always the goal. Okay? Love you so much. Have an excellent day. Take great care of yourself. Bye-bye.